Alright, welcome to another, I guess, quickie goggles tutorial. In this one we're going to look at ZeeMod engine Opendefs, and what we want to do is see how to use the Opendef and to modify it if you want to add power, torque and horsepower to existing ZeeMod engines, and also if you want to add trucks that aren't included. So, for example, this truck, this Freightliner FLC, is not going to be in the ZeeMod engine files by default, I don't think. Maybe it is. But if you wanted to add it, or say something like the Marmon, which for sure is not in the main engine file, you would need to use the Opendef to use that engine in that truck. And so it's super simple. Hopefully I can explain it in a way that makes sense, and I'll try not to go too fast because we don't need to be in a hurry here. We just want to make sure we get it right. So we're going to start at the end result and show you what we want to achieve, and then we'll go about showing you how to do it. So we're going to go into Truck Manager. We'll pick a truck we're not driving, and we're going to go Upgrade, and I'll show you the upgraded engines in here. So we've got the DD60 in here. So this is a stock one, 515 at 1650 foot-pounds. There's the 3406E. Now I should back up here. I just purchased this 3406E just moments ago, and I haven't touched the Opendef in it. I'm going to show you, the reason is to show you the changes we're going to make and how they show up in the game from scratch. But here's the DD60 I run a lot of the time, and I've upgraded it. So this is typically the biggest DD60 he has by default. It's 620 horsepower and 1980 foot-pounds of torque. So I like to do a lot of sort of medium heavy hauls, a little bit, things around 100, 120,000 pounds, whatever. So I'll use this engine. Now you can see it says 805 horsepower, and it's got the kilowatt here, 595, and 2950 foot-pounds of torque, which is 4,000 Newton meters. And so these numbers have all changed, and we make that happen. That's something we do. And this truck right here is set up with a tri-axle, and you can see over here I've gone into the chassis file for this truck and I made it a 4x4 or 8x8 4 powered axles, and I've added a little weight to it so I can pull really heavy loads with this truck without an issue. And but it's got this engine, 1005 horsepower, 750 kilowatts, or 3688 foot-pounds of torque, 5,000 Newton meters. And I'm going to show you how to get this to show up. So you'll know, and the reason I put 805, 1005 is when I see that something 05, I know that I did that engine. So this is one of the ones I put up. And because other people do it too, or you'll get an engine pack and it'll have 1001 horsepower, for example, you'll see on a Cat C16. And if I have them in my Cat C16 for ZeeMod, I put 1005, and that's where that started, so I could tell which one was mine. And yeah, so that's the end. That's what we're looking for. That's what we want. And let's go about doing it. So get out of here, and we'll Alt-Tab out to the desktop. I've got a couple files open here already. Now, oh, I want to close that. Okay, here we got our mod folder. So this is where all our ZeeMod active files are. And over here I've got my local disk ATS ZeeMods folder, and in here I got all the ZeeMod stuff I have, and then I'll put an engine in a folder like this. If the engine's got a, so when this engine comes from ZeeMod, when you download it, it has this Opendef file for modders. Well, you got to extract it, so I'll put it in its own folder, extract it, and here's the Opendef. So I've taken this Opendef and the main file, and I've put them into the mod folder. And let's see where they show up in here. Probably going to be up around here. Here we are, right there. So there they are. And when we went in there, there was only a few engines. And we're going to change that. We're going to take that Opendef and make it what we want. So I've gone in here. I have a modified Opendef. This is where I have all my ZeeMod engines and the modified Opendefs. So I haven't put it in here yet. So let's go grab it. So go ATS ZeeMods 3406E. We're going to copy this. Go back here to modified Opendefs 3406. We're going to paste it in here. So now this is where this is where it all gets interesting. Okay, so before we start here, there's another thing you should do and get this ready, and that is you need these converters. So this one is torque, so Newton meters to foot-pounds. Super important. You're going to need this. And you need horsepower to kilowatts. So these are just two little online converters. I'll put links in the video to these ones. And so we're going to need those. So let's go to there. Now we got our Opendef. Let's drill into it. So we're going to, I'm using Windows 11, so it's a little different maybe if you're not. Got to go show more options. So I right click it, show more options, 7-zip, open archive. Here we go. Def, vehicle, truck. And this is the way it starts out with ZeeMod. You're going to get this file, and in here is the engine. And these are the engines that are included. And we're going to add to this. And so what we need to do, we're going to go to this thing. We're going to go right click it, and we're going to go copy to. We're going to copy it to this folder. So let's look what we got. ATS ZeeMods modified Opendefs 3406E. Perfect. So copy it to there. Here it is. Now we've got it in here. Now we can close out of this file. We don't need this one open anymore. But now we can leave it because now let's close it. Makes it simpler. Let's just get rid of it. We don't need it. We're going to need to open the Opendef in here, but we'll just start a new 7-zip over there, or WinZip, whatever. So here we are, your truck def name. Okay, and this is where the whole thing starts. So this is a copy, so we're not too worried about renaming it. So let's go back here. We're going to go right click it. We're going to rename it. And we're going to call it Peterbilt 389V2, which is, that's the truck name for the Viper. And before we say OK, we're gonna, I guess we'll just, what I usually do is I usually go highlight that and go Control C to copy it, and then I can go into the file, into the engine, and you're going to see by default it's probably going to be Peterbilt.389 or something. That, what's he have here today? W900JL. So that's John Ruta's W900. So that's what he's using by default in this one. Well, we're going to change that, and we are going to highlight that, and we're going to change it to what we just did. So if we highlight it, go Control V, or to paste it. Now we've got Peterbilt.389V2. We'd save it and close that. So that's how you make this engine. You know, if we put this Opendef, modified Opendef, in the copy this truck name, this truck, into the Opendef over here in the mod folder, that engine would show up for this truck now, no problem. Although it is by default. So, but we're going to make it for, you know, we could use it in any truck. We could be putting Marmon, and then you would have this engine in the Marmon, where you wouldn't with just the base, this file here, the 3406E SCS file. The Marmon isn't in there. but we could put it in here and it would show up in the game. But what we want to do is learn how to make this, give ourselves a few extra engines. So we're going to do one with 805 horsepower and we're going to do one with 1005 horsepower. So how do we do it? Well, we're going to take this file right here. It doesn't matter which one, you could choose any of these, but we're going to take this one. We're going to go copy, and we're going to paste it right back in here. So now we have this one called copy. So let's, first off, let's rename that. We're going to go to the rename, and we're going to backspace the copy thing out of here. And it says 66, and we're going to make it 805. So now we've got 805 here. So this is our new engine. We're going to drill in here. And it still says 66 up here. So we got to change that to 805. Backspace, 805. Now we've got that. Now we've got the horsepower here, 669. So we're going to change that. 805. We're going to come down here, and this is where it says horsepower is 669. We're going to go 805. Now we want to know, we want to change the kilowatt number here so it's accurate when we look at it in the file. And this says it's 492 kilowatts, but that can't be right. That was for 669. So we're going to go here. We're going to get our horsepower to kilowatt. We're going to put in 805. 600 kilowatts. All right. So we go in here, back to here. There we got to delete backspace and make it 600. Hopefully I got that right. 600, yeah. Now we've got to do the Newton meter thing. So where this is interesting is we've got foot-pounds of torque here and Newton meters. Now this, you can see here, there's a 3 here, a bunch of gobbledygook, and 019. That's 3,019 Newton meters. Here's the torque, 3,019 Newton meters right here. And this is the value that we're going to change, is going to make all of this happen. So what I do for my 805 horsepower motor, and you can use any number you want, but I make it 4,000. So I make that 4,000. And so we have to change this Newton meter here to 4,000. We put a 4 in there. I get over here, get rid of this 1 and the 9. Make it 0, 0. So now we got 4, 0, 0, 0. And that is going to make, we'll go back to our calculator here for Newton meters. And let's go put 4,000 in here. 2950. Okay. So we go back in here. And we go, it's already got a 2 there. So we just got to change these 3 here. Backspace. Make them 950. And now, so we got 2950 foot-pounds of torque. And it's 4,000 Newton meters, which corresponds to this number here, which is going to be the thing that does all this. Our horsepower is 805, and we made that 600 Newton meters. We've got a new engine, because we've copied an old one, and we've given it the horsepower or designator that we want. And, you know, we could have called it 80, as it had a 2-digit character before. He had 669 horsepower, so he called it 66. We could have called it 80, but in this case we got 805. Let's see how that works. So we're going to save this engine. Oh, the other thing we do before we're going to save it, let's see if we still have the truck on the clipboard here. Control V. Yeah, we don't have anything on it, so we got to put in here Peterbilt dot 389 V2 for that's the Viper. And let's put that on our clipboard now. Oh, wait a minute. Should we? Yeah, no, not yet. We'll just leave this like this. But anyway, that's what that's going to be. Peterbilt.389v2. And we're going to go File. Ooh, here we're there. Save. We can close that out. And now we have this engine. If we went back into it, Peterbilt.389v2. It's got all good info. Okay, so we got that done. Now what we want to do is we want to make our 1005 horsepower engine. So we're going to take this one, we're going to copy it, paste it in here, and we're going to rename it. We're going to backspace all this out. We're going to go 1005 and say OK. Now we're going to go here and we're going to turn the 805 into 1005. Backspace and put a 10 there. Same thing here. 1005 and here. 1005. Now 1005 horsepower is how many kilowatts? So we got to go back here to our horsepower thing. I'll put 1005. 750. All right. So we got to go to here, and I'll delete those first two and put a 75. And we got 750 kilowatts. Now here's the torque number that I use. I use 5,000 Newton meters for my big engine. So let's go find out what that's going to be. Oh, got the whole thing lit up. Okay, 3688. Okay, excuse me. So let's go in here. We got that at 5,000. That's going to make this. I change that first one to a 3. We got to change the back end. This 950. We got to make 688. So 3688. And we've changed this to 5,000. So let's see, we got 5 and 3 zeros, so that's good. Oh, we don't have 5, that's a 4 still. Let's try that again. There we go, 5,000. So that's all good. So now we have a 1005 horsepower, 3688 foot-pound of torque engine. And we got the Viper. So let's, this time, we're going to highlight this. We're going to Control C to copy it. We're going to save. Close it. Now we already did this engine. This should already be Viper instead of the W900JL. It is, so we can close that. We're just checking. Go to the next one. And I'm going to take the KW, highlight it, Control V, make it to Viper. Save it. Close it. Go into the next engine. Highlight that. Control V. Save it. Exit. And this one. This is the 669 horsepower one we copied. And you got to make sure if it doesn't show up when you go into the engine options, it's because you either nicked out that period or dot or that one. So you got to watch for that. You got to watch this bracket here. If you get a space between here and it may not work, or if that's missing. So you got to watch how you edit it. Just be careful. And if you do have a problem, all you got to do is come back in here, open the one you can't find up, and open one that works up, and look at them both and compare the differences. And so that one's good, that one's good. So we're all good. So we've done it. In theory, now we've got to just see if it works, or we got to put it in the folder. So now we've got this engine file here, and we've used this Opendef to modify it. And or we could put it in here. We actually haven't done much with this Opendef at all. We just brought the name out of it. So this your truck name here file that's by default in all of the things, we brought it out. We put our truck name there. And I'm not 100% sure it's necessary to replace the W900JL with the Peterbilt name on each engine, but I noticed that you can see errors in your log file, your game log. If you look at it, it'll complain that, well, where's the truck? Is you have this truck engine enabled in the game, but it doesn't show a truck for it. If you don't have the W900 from Ruta in your folder, it's wondering why you're using its engine. So I changed the engine name for each engine to the truck, for the truck, to make it correspond, and I don't get errors that way. So let's copy this guy. Or actually, don't do it that way. We're going to go into the 3406E Opendef here. We're going to open it with use 7-zip. You can use it however you like. I'm going to bring this over here. We're going to go into Def, Vehicle, Truck. Your truck name here. Well, we're just going to grab this. Oops. I don't want to highlight the whole thing. I want to just drag it over here and say, yeah, we want it in there. Oh, it's being used. That's because we've got to close out of the game. Exit to the launch pad. All right, let's get back where we were. I'll try it now. There we go. So if we were to open that again, I don't know why 7-zip closed. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. I'm just going to confirm that it's in there. Def, vehicle, truck. It didn't go. Okay, closed for some reason. Let's try that again. Oh. There it is. It's there now. So now we can close it, and I'm going to just open it again just to be sure. I know it's tedious, but you just want to be sure before you go into the game. There it is, Peterbilt, the way we want it. All right, so now we should have a 3406E with 805 and 1005 horsepower when we go into the game. And in the mod manager, it's super important how you put these things in here. You can see the engine files. The Opendef is always above the engine file. So Opendef, engine, Opendef, engine. That's the way they go. And another thing with while we're in here, maybe I should do a whole nother video on it if you guys would like, is mod order. Because this is super critical to get things to work. If you don't get the mod order right, things don't work, and your game will crash, and it would just be totally frustrating. So anyway, let's get out of here. Continue the game. And we'll go to our Viper. Upgrade. Let's see what we got for engines now. We're looking for 3406Es. There's a default one. There's a default one. Bunch of Detroits. Oh, here we go. 3406E. There was his biggest one, 669. Here's our 805 horsepower one with 600 kilowatts, 2950 foot-pounds of torque, 4,000 newton meters. So this is the one we put in. Cool. And because we, where's the 1005 horsepower guy? I don't see it. Maybe I missed it. We have to go and find out. It may have, oh, you know what? It may not like the 4 characters. Oh, yeah. Well, it didn't. Yeah, that could be what the problem is. So there's something I'll show you how to fix. Yeah, because we're not getting it. All right, but we've got the 805 horsepower, and because we used the we copied his 669 HP tuned, we get 805 HP tuned here. So what I've done in the past with this is I've made that number, instead of 1005, 999. So we'll do that. We'll go in and change it, and then the engine should show up. So let's, for giggles, put that engine in there. We'll confirm the order, and let's close out of here. And we're going to have to exit to the launch pad, as we learned. And Alt-Tab. We're going to go into the Opendef. We'll go straight into it here and just edit it here. Let's go Open Archive. Let's have a look at what's wrong with it. Truck. Oh, I got the wrong engine. That must be 3406. B. You want the E. There we go. Okay, and the 1005, it didn't like this one. I think it's potentially the number of characters, so let's drill in and see what's wrong. We didn't take any dots out of here, so that's all good. I think it's this. I think it's the 4 characters right here. So we're going to change it to 999. And see what it thinks of that. And we update it. Yes, please. Oh, I didn't see that. Didn't change it there, did it? 99. You know what? Let's try a different way. I'm going to leave that at 1005. It could be save. Let's just try and rename this to 999. This could be where the problem is. It's got too many characters there for the to be recognized by the sound file. And I guess we're good. 999. Yeah, let's close out. Go into the game. Yes, I think I have been going 999 previously. I thought I would try the 1005 because I was having luck with the other. Let's see, what do we get? Oh, it's still not showing up. Yeah. Well, let's see what we're doing with the DD60 and copy that, because this has me puzzled. Okay. Let's go Alt-Tab. And let's look at the DD60, which is way down here. Open Archive, Def, Vehicle, Truck. Peterbilt, this one here. You can see how many engine or how many trucks I have that use that engine in. It's my favorite. So I'm calling it, let's have a look here, 10. Okay. And in here, I'm calling it 10. Okay. All right, well, let's go back and do the same with the DD with the 3406C. We won't do the same thing. What we're going to do is make it the same as the ones that are working in terms of numbers, the number of characters. So under def, vehicle, truck, engine. So the ones that are working, they're all, well, these are 2. The 805 is working. And it shows up with 3. This one, 999, isn't. So do we have to go 999 here? Let's see. Let's see if that does it. Yes, we want to update the archive. Close out of there. Continue. See what happened here. There it is. Okay, so that's what it was. It was the number of characters. So I put 4 in where 3 were the maximum allowed in that instance. And it all depends how the original punctuation in the engine file is, what it is. So by adding a 4th character, that broke the file. So, but we fixed it by looking at another file and making that the same, but it still shows up as the description that we wanted. So it's 3406E, 1005 horsepower, tuned. And just out of curiosity, what we should do is listen to this thing, just see what it sounds like. I've never tried it. I don't think I've watched a video on it. So let's throw the 1001 in there. Let's confirm order. We'll go like that. Oops, we wanted to stay in there and go drive it. Drive it. Let's do that. Oh, that time of day is kind of off. Let's change the time of day. All right, and put on the parking brake. Make sure it's on. Give it some power. There it is. Oh. Okay, well, I can't tell much about how it's going to sound by just sitting here revving it up, so let's drive it through the garage. Oh, it's still on. Well, that's not terrible. You can never tell much by just sitting there winding on a diesel. I don't get it where guys do that in videos. Oh, we're in San Francisco. I don't feel like driving around there. Anyway, okay guys, so what we've done, I'll just do a really quick recap. Just so go back to the beginning and just kind of run through the steps briefly, as I know there's a lot there and it can be a little confusing. So we'll get the open a new window. Where's that? Right there. Gotta go to our ZeeMods. So we created a file. We downloaded the ZeeMods mod, and we put it all in here. The engine file and the Opendef. We extracted the Opendef from this zip. We got these two files. We put the Opendef into our modified Opendefs folder here. We opened it up with, where are we here? Show more, 7-zip, open archive. We went in here, into the vehicle, truck, your def name. So we grabbed that, we copied it to here. So the way you do that is just go right click it and you go copy to, and it'll get copied back into its root folder. And we could go ahead and do that because we don't have another file with that name in there. And now we've got our one to rename, but you know, we've made changes to it. So that would be a stock default one. This is the one we're interested in here. And engine, we took this 666, which was this 669 horsepower engine. We right clicked it, copied, pasted, renamed it to the 805. That worked flawlessly. But when I went to 1005, that one didn't work, and the reason was if we use 7-zip and we go find that, where are we? We're in here. Yeah, that's engine, and we oh, we went and changed it. Sorry, this is what didn't work. So now we have to look at it in the mod folder. So what I should do actually before I go any further and make this mistake again is over here, this file will go to here, leave ourselves there, and we're going to go up to the root, and it's under documents, isn't it? Oh, users, me, documents, American Truck Sim, mod, all the way down to the bottom here, 3406E, Opendef, def vehicle truck, and that, we're going to go into here first. We're going to delete this one. We'll do a shift delete. If you do shift delete, it bypasses your waste bucket. It just goes straight off the computer, which is what you want. We're going to copy to, and we want it to go to ATS ZeeMods. Where is ATS ZeeMods? Should be right around here. There it is. And modified Opendefs 3406E. There it is. Okay, so now if we look in this one, 999. That was the problem we had with it. I had too many digits there. And also here. So we just made it 999. But this is what shows up, the name, when we look in the you know, we could put here, if we wanted, we could make that tuned by goggles or something, you know, or tuned by you. You can put your own name in there. And that's going to show up regardless what you put in here. Is it's not sensitive to this number of characters. And I think where that comes in, I may be mistaken. I'm not, you know, don't quote me on this, but you know, I've got to believe that this file right here is tuned to read these files based on, you know, does the character string meet something that it can be happy with. But anyway, enough babbling on. Hopefully this is all, you know, makes sense to you. It's not overly complicated. Just pick a file, copy it, edit out the important bits, use your string converters to the big number, the one to remember, is the Newton meter number in the file. And just to be clear, I'll point that out one more time because it's super important. Let's just do it with over here. This number, torque, this is the number. So if you wanted a bajillion, 1,000,000,000 foot-pounds of torque, just make that a great big number. But I try and stay sort of reasonable. Like, imagine if this was a compound turbo engine or whatever, and theoretically you could get a boatload of power out of it. It's not outrageous. It's quite a bit, but it's not outrageous. But you could make that 7,000 or whatever. And if you want to know what that does to the Newton meters, right here where you change that, that's where the 5,000 is. You want to find that what that is in torque. Just use your converter and put the appropriate numbers in here, and then when you go into the game, into the engine file options, it kind of makes sense what you're seeing. It's all relative horsepower gain, the torque gain in Newton meters and kilowatts, horsepower and foot-pounds. Anyway, I hope I didn't make it too complicated. And what we can do, there's other things you can do too with these Opendef files. If you have an Opendef file for the truck, maybe we can get into that sometime too. But where I make it a 4x4 or 8x8 rather, and things like that, add weight to the chassis. But that's another story for another day. Hopefully this all became clear. And yeah, if there's any questions, please put them below. And take care, guys. We'll catch you again next time we see you. Obviously. Bye for now.